recording stopped on its own. So this is part two. So the church, all the sanity with so I asked the church that same day, I'm going through and being isolated, and I'm not that kind of personality type. I like to be around people. It makes me happy. So, but someone's manipulating my environments. So nonetheless, I asked the churches, I'm fleeing a domestic violence crisis. Is there any mentorship? Do you have any programs? Anything that I can do? Involvement, Bible studies? No, we don't have any of it. I said there's no sister that I can talk to? No, but armies full of locations are enlisted to treat me like this. So no one I can talk to, period. They said no. So I went to go talk to the police that's there. I think the police is a con and listen to these enforcing crimes on these church members. She'll flash them back because they did not have security. So then all of a sudden when I start attending these churches, now they have security, and since they've been incriminated, then now they just enlist the church in mind games as the avenue to keep me. If I'm being bullied and violated and mistreated at church, then there's a possibility I won't want to attend it if I'm being mistreated there. So nonetheless, this is a police that claims he's doing security there. I said, okay, well, since this church won't help me, period, can you help me, give me information on protection orders and how I can protect myself against this man that I believe is stalking me and enlisting armies full of people to harass me and torment me? So the church cons members enlisted somewhere behind the scenes because everything's being monitored, knowing that you never believe my story. So multiple different locations, people will call, interrupt, and do things, and that's to strategize the opportunity to interrupt people being incriminated. But I've known this, it's happened for years. Like at Mid-Coast, each time I was talking to staff and they were getting incriminated, they'd have a phone call and say that I can't talk to you, I have the crisis line, or people staying at the shelter that were being weird would interrupt. Typically if someone's talking, you can't interrupt, but they would interrupt me. There was an alibi to interrupt the conversation of some serious events. Like when my phone came up stolen and, food and different things, or how I wasn't getting services, people would interrupt and we could not continue the conversation on how I could get services. But the problem of it is this would happen at multiple different locations, that they would get calls to interrupt people being incriminated. I know what's happening. It's just trying to prove to others what's happening. So indeed, even on this recording, I got to record on another device because the same party that would threaten to put me out her car was sending me text messages, and it exposed a number. Well, they'll have an alibi to put me out of this new location, because if it exposed a number, then they can say you were recording it and upload it to YouTube, and then that's why we're putting you out of this new location. So I have to re-record it. So that's what's happened with the church. Now, this is a text message I got late last night I believe it was for torment, because I was going to bed, stating that she knows where the church is, she knows where I'm located, and she's going to send Dallas police out to take my freedom. I've already called Dallas and tried to turn myself in for those charges that they gave me, that ticket that they gave me for trying to report crimes the police department repeatedly committed. I called the police on South Central Patrol for tampering with evidence and covering for the crimes to keep me away from my child. They, in a strategy to keep me from reporting crimes, they gave me a ticket. I went to court, and I wanted you guys to see how I'm treated in court. That said, that video is narcissistic abuse at court, because they want me tormented and mistreated and afraid at court. And they're to the degree to where they don't let me attend court, but when they can't interrupt my ability to attend court, then they want to bully and violate me at court. So nonetheless, I have a warrant out for my arrest for the same ticket for reporting crimes the police department repeatedly commits. So I've already called to try to turn myself in, because the government blacklisted me from all shelter and wanted me to be outside, terrified for my life. And each time I save up nest eggs, they'll strategize with multiple different locations to blacklist me from shelter to make me go through all my funds. It's financial abuse, knowing you never believe my story. So now I know their strategy to wipe me out of these nest eggs, because I repeatedly keep saving. They'll have the location put me out, force me to be in hotels, then scam with the hotels put out, then defraud me of funds because I can't get the hotel stay I'm paying for, repeatedly being defrauded out of funds, purchasing things on my account, debts build up, and just repeatedly over and over. Okay, I press record. I don't know what you saw. It stops recording and everything on its own. So this party right here says that I know where this debt is. Okay? And I say, I don't know what you're talking about. My son did the same thing. Can you please tell me? And then I said, is this why stepmom called me and claiming that my daughter wanted to send me letters and ask for my address? And then I don't know what they're talking about, but you don't get to scam and keep me away from my child and terminate my rights in corruption. Legally, if my rights were terminated, there's no avenue for child support. You can't demand child support. If you're taking bribes and conning and scheming that I have no parental rights, you're not supposed to be charging me child support. But they're committing all kind of other wrecked up felonies. So they want their cake and eat it too. So they wanted to create this debt in multiple different environments. That it's fraud and embezzlement in multiple different locations that were repeatedly unaddressed. So I tell this party, I have no clue what you're talking about. Social Security Administration did it, Health and Human Services, IRS, all kind of felonies all over the place that are repeatedly unaddressed. So she didn't want me exposing that my son said that 5-6 years ago, he said that I created a debt for him. He's cursing me out, demeaning me. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Show me proof, I'll pay it. But he's deliberately trying to stage conflict to argue. So I put in the description.
So my device is glitching.
I had lost my place. And I put in this description. So they also told me about a $16,000. So I put in the description that my son trying to start an argument about something that I didn't owe, and he was slandering me. And now my device is glitching, so I can't do this recording. So the other party deleted out the comments, so it's glitching and it won't let me play this video because I'm trying to show evidence that my son.
Tell you what's happening. Okay, so Jay Rich, or whatever her name is, Jay, that suspicious Jay Rich, posted all the threats about going to the police and all that, telling them where I'm at. So I'm posting a comment that my son did the same thing about the debt. He said that I had a debt and would not supply me evidence. And then she deleted that comment off of her page or channel or whatever you want to call it.
Gave me a debt with him. And my phone didn't exist and started an argument when he could.
So I went to go find the video of my son creating the debt, and I copied the video, okay? And then I pasted it into my descriptions so I wouldn't have to go back because I have so many videos. So my phone would not let me go into the descriptions to play that video.
Furnish proof of the debt. It's not letting me go in the description, the comments. This is not how it's supposed to look. All of it's missing. So I decided not to upload the video, but I was doing my own investigation work on Jason Gardner's site.
Channel.
I had to create, because he blocked me on Facebook. But I'm having to do my own law enforcement, so I want to see what he's posting to do my own investigation work. It was multiple different glitches, so I started recording it. Why would my device try to cover for me trying to do my own investigation work, looking at its pages? So the way that it glitched is I tried to create a Facebook page, another one. So it was giving me problems with creating this new Facebook page. So I got my device out to record it. Then when I went on his Facebook page, it was glitching. Like it did not want me to review his Facebook page. So I recorded that too.
Let me pause
this.
Like I said, I'm forced to do my own law enforcement, and I am a beginner. I'm not law enforcement, so I do the best that I can do. But I find it highly suspicious. If you're married, where is your wife? I don't know if what I'm appearing, what I'm witnessing is being altered. But where are the wedding photos? Where are the dinners with your wife? Is just bizarre. I've never seen a married man that is hiding his wife. So the reason why I'm going into this, I'm trying to get evidence of what's happening, who is the mastermind behind the insanity that I experienced. So let me finish recording. Playing this, rather.
I would not want me reviewing this man.
I don't know what you heard. It's doing the same thing. I record and it'll stop recording on its own. It's being weird, my recording. So what I did state was that this is bizarre. When I look up the Facebook, it glitched. And on Instagram, this man has no pictures of his wife, but hardly on it at all. And I find that bizarre. And my device is stopping recording on its own and being weird and doing all kind of strange things. So I don't know what you heard. So let me go ahead and finish playing this recording. And then the reason why I'm having to do it this way is because of the lady that threatened to put me out of her car keeps sending texts in a group chat, and it's making numbers come up. And they need to strategize and put out like they've been doing years of this environment. So they want to capitalize off if I'm uploading videos. No one knows about this YouTube channel because they use that as an alibi to keep me from services and railroad and hijack my life repeatedly over. So I stopped telling people about the channel. Now they're going to scam that someone is stalking, but it's really the government doing it, controlling all these people. Now the scam is going to be that someone has contacted the church and we just find it in your best interest not to come here like they've been doing. They have to scam out avenues to violate me and keep, nonetheless, let me finish playing this. It would be unrealistic, and, I just decided not to upload the video. So I think it took me like 30 or 40 minutes. I'm speaking of my Facebook experience. Sent to my phone to get this new Facebook page. So I recorded how it was glitching to keep me from viewing his Facebook page. My device did not want me to look at this man's Facebook page. I don't know if I've already said that because my device keeps glitching. So why would my device not want me logging into Facebook to see this man's page? I have my own Facebook page, but he's blocked me. When I asked him to fix me up with one of his friends, he blocked me from an email that he kept sending me emails from, and then he also blocked me on Facebook. So when he blocked me on Facebook, I wanted to do my own investigation work, so I set up an alternate site to review what was going on his Facebook page, and there's very little posts. And hardly, like I said, none of his wife and experiences that he has with his wife. I found that peculiar. With the pen, I didn't get it. So by the time all this was said and done, it may have taken 40 minutes. Then with my birthday, it made me go all the way back to my year. And I had to go month by month. I'm recording, and I'm getting text messages from that weird guy from POF that ignored me and tried to start an argument. He's sending me messages now for distractions. From 2025 all the way up to my year. And that took an extended amount of time. It would not let me just enter my... I don't know if you heard this, but a lot of times when I'm online, the site demands that I go all the way back month to month, all the way from my year from 2025. He's still sending me multiple different messages in a row when I'm trying to record, the same person that ignored me. So nonetheless, so each month it's taking an extended amount of time because it just won't let me put in my date of birth. It's demanding that I go 1 month at a time. And this happens on countless pages, making it long, drawn out, and problematic. And I recorded it. But like I said, I decided not to upload it because I just, didn't think that people would believe my experiences. So let me finish, press play. Birthday in, I had to go month to month to month, all the way from 2025 to get my birthday. So like I said, that almost took up an hour. So it still don't want me to see it. It's still missing. This is not how it's supposed to be. Basically stalking, and they want me to go all the way back to show where my son was starting the argument, saying that I owed him money that I didn't. $15,000 debt. So that didn't work. So then I had my device like that. I didn't fall for that because I saved money, but there are deliberate strategies to wipe me out of my funds. The government and armies full of parties are enlisted in financial abuse. We're talking about someone psycho running a lot of people. This is the normal pattern of behavior for abusers, but typically abusers can't abuse this much power. These are the tools and strategies they have for violating someone. But it's just compounded because there are so many players in my abuse, including family. So nonetheless, I repeatedly have saved up nest eggs, and then they strategize on how they're going to wipe me out of those funds. So I didn't fall for my oldest son saying that, yeah, you borrowed I remember, and you borrowed money 7 years ago. You took out this loan. It was a blatant lie because I deliberately tried to give him, I did his loans, and they were the grants that you don't pay back. So I deliberately did that because I didn't want him incurring debt. So he's stating that some kind of way I did do a student loan, which, I said, give me proof and I'll pay it. And he couldn't furnish proper proof. And then he was cursing me out, degrading me. And my children have been raised in church. They're completely out of character. Anyone that will tell you, if people will be honest, my kids were pillars of the community and I had a reputation. I'm not perfect, but I was involved and I help people. That's what people know. But I'm being slandered. And not to get it misunderstood, yes, I have made a lot of mistakes.
So nonetheless, my son's cursing me out, and my phone don't want me showing you this video of how he's talking to me. But my phone has covered up for my family for years, as well as multiple different other accomplices, which I'm trying to prove that someone that's manipulating all these people and environments is indeed controlling my device, which is criminal. So I'm going to have to do this the hard way, because as you can see, my phone is trying to cover for my son, starting an argument about debt. Let's see if it corrects. So back to when it didn't work with that son, then my middle son calls with a scam. He says that his car broke down. He don't know what he's going to do. He don't have a car. He can't get to work, and he's probably going to have to sleep outside, all this, all that, sleep in his car. And, his car's broke down. I sent him money because he had said that he had to sleep in his car. He didn't have money, so I sent him money. So he says that he needs his car. He doesn't know what he's going to do, so I sent him $1,000. He said that I'll pay you back. I sent him $1,000 and didn't talk to him in a year. He said that he was going to send me installments, and this is how I'm treated. Someone is using my family in multiple different schemes. My sister sold about $10,000 from me, and then started an argument with me. I didn't even know I was targeted, but it was weird. My experience at the bank trying to dispute her all the false charges. One party cried when she heard what my sister did and said, "I'll take her to jail right now." I said, "No, she has kids. I don't want her to go to jail." But that was the police. The bank required only to give me partial of the funds, and it was around $10,000. So the bank said I had a experience to where she had to have access to my card, and it was bizarre then. And like I said, I didn't know I was targeted. So I went to this party at the police department. The bank demanded that I get a police report that I incurred these charges, and it wasn't me. So I got the police report, and then the party, I showed her what my sister did, and she started crying. So she said, "I'll take her to jail right now." And I said no. So the bank only gave me their charges and fees, which was about $1,000. But I was wiped out of the $9,000. They said that they couldn't go back for these other charges. And, whatever. But and then I did not know that my sister was in cahoots for whatever the government's doing to me. Fine, but who's not robbing me? So the situation in which, that it transpired, and I was actually in jail. So I was actually set up by the person that I blocked on Facebook. Okay, the messenger. So I was actually set up and didn't realize what was happening. I was a doormat and really naive. So nonetheless, the charge was supposed to be a misdemeanor, but they're demanding that I take a felony for this misdemeanor charge, and I'm still a felon now with this glitch. So I tried to go to the court, and they were like panicking, and I had no idea that I was being targeted, and the police were all over the place walking and monitoring me. So they didn't know if I was going to dispute why I have a felony and it's supposed to be a misdemeanor charge. So that government is trapping me into that, and I cannot do anything about them but listing a misdemeanor charge as a felony. The government's doing it. So I said that the government is setting up for people to rob me blind. Deliberately strategize and network with people that are, are heartless and that will conceal these crimes to get nowhere. They don't. Someone's paying an arm and a leg to set up all these felonies. They don't want someone with integrity interrupting all these felonies and all these crimes from being committed. So they have to strategize, control my phone, and make sure the environment's staged for cover-up. That's why I'm relentlessly followed and stalked and monitored. So back to the church experiences, a lot of these churches were, I was being followed and stalked by police. That's how they were able to manipulate these churches like that, going to them randomly. And then, or if I looked them up on my phone, then they'd have the police department ready there waiting with badges and guns. So what I was trying to communicate is I would be followed by police vehicles, multiple different ones. And then they would run lights and do weird things to monitor me and see what churches I'm going to. That way they can set the stage and make sure no one helps me flee them. And then I tried to report it. And then they got infuriated that I was exposing their corruption and criminal activity, that I was indeed illegally being monitored, and bad police with badges and guns would be waiting at these environments to enlist church members and the church congregation in criminal activity. Harassment is a crime. Enlisting them for psychological abuse and mind games. But I'm not quite certain on why church members, even with people with badges and guns, enlisted them to do it, why they would actually do it. Right here. Look at the time. My phone is still doing it.
It's still glitching.
I am indeed going to have to do this the hard way. Stalking, and they repeately do it year after year. Okay, this is exposing my crime. My sons. Look at this. Okay, this is my second time trying to shoot this video. So, you see, I've been uploading it for 5 hours.
This is the video they didn't want me showing you.
Uploading the video for 5 hours. Okay, 1 moment. You see, it says 2 hours left. Look at the time. 7 hours to do upload. Go whatever you want.
And these weird camera angles come up on their own.
When I try to report your crimes, you are corrupt. Number one, committing crimes, open felonies. And I go to my provider and say, you're putting your other customers. Okay, these are text messages from my son. I'm doing pretty good. How have you been doing? You Dallas still? Yes, but I lost the apartment in another false arrest. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you working anywhere? Where are you staying? So I sent him the message Saturday, and he didn't respond till Monday. Okay, and then where are you staying? A homeless shelter. I'm gonna call you when I get off work. No conflict. Okay, that's to lure you in. Okay, went to the police department, and they keep covering for everything, and I showed them evidence that my kids were calling me out the blue to start arguments and texts. These investigators never call me back. They know. They're covering for this man, along with a whole bunch of other people, and he in this huge mental illness. Okay, and the security and all kinds of people are coming all over the place. There was a lady that sat with me, and then when I got my phone out, she left. I know she was a gangster. Okay, so then you heard the call the other day when he hung up. And then I put, you hung up when I told you someone pulled a gun on me. I have it recorded. That man you saw that hit me, because they saw it. My daughter was gone, but my son and Denise came out and saw this man cursing me out. He made a big scene saying, he let me have it left and right, just degraded me, and I was just so distraught. I didn't know, I wasn't gathering that it was on purpose. He said, I saw you down the street, you were moving slow, so-and-so this, so-and-so that.
So wait a minute. I saw you down the street, and I was indeed moving slow. He's absolutely correct. I saw you down the street moving slow. Is that a red flag? If I'm moving slow, how is it that you hit me? He didn't stop anything. You know how you hit someone and you pull off the brakes? He didn't stop. I called the police. They never came.
Anyway, so he saw that, and then the next day he called concerned.
My son saw it.
I didn't know at the time that he hit it. He was deliberately hit me because I was distraught. He hit me in the car. So I said, you saw the man that cursed me out like that. He did it on purpose. It's a whole bunch of other stuff I have recorded. What do you want me to do if this has been years, like you said, almost 6, right? What do you want me to do to see you? Yeah, I know you're recording. Which is why I hung up. You're psychic like the church. If you were on the phone all that time, why would you just hang up because I'm recording? So now your lie is you hung up because I was recording. You hung up because you couldn't validate all the chaos that I was telling you that I went through that put my life in jeopardy. So you hung up so you wouldn't have to hear it like you've been doing years. So here's the con. I hung up because you were recording. I don't think we need to see each other because you refuse to get help like everyone has been telling you. You're not about to use me for your own little drama performances. If you want to record some SHRT, record yourself telling them how your kids had to do all the chores, blatant lies. How you had your son take out a $3,000 loan, blatant lie too, promise to pay it back. Tell him how greedy for money you are, but never wanted to work. Just take little checks I was making because you didn't want to do and record that. Blatant lies. You contacted me to argue. All they have to do is an investigation. People will tell you how I bought clothes for my son and did things for them. Had sleepovers, all kinds of things.
PlayStation, the newest game.
I just do law enforcement. And then I said you contacted me to argue. I told you to furnish proof of the loan. He's
sleepovers, parties.
For him. He won't give me any evidence.
I had
He told me about this May of 2022. If I took out the long years, how did you just concoct that you're furious with me? And I took out a loan, but won't show me proof. So I did Pell Grants for you. That's why I asked you to see proof. I have got help. I have got help. If you're talking about mental health treatment. So they're trying to frame me with mental illness. That's why I have to record them. My own family is conspirators in these crimes because they're slandering me, but they're doing it out of fear and terror. So I'm recording them because they're accomplices. Record how I left a car that was in my name with you, and you decided to let my little sister walk home and let my brother drive, who had never drove before in his life because you were too lazy. Record how you put all the bills in my name, told me you would get a job to help and never did. Tell them why my credit blank effed up. Record all that since you like recording. Okay, so the car was in his name. I bought it and put the car in his name. He's right about that. He did not pay a cent on it. Blatant lie. And then I was offended that my daughter had to walk to school. So I paid when someone did something to the car. I paid people. And then some of the people were gang stalkers and weird, and she wouldn't ride with them. So then the school was telling her rides not to give her a ride. So what he's doing is he's pushing on a soft spot because I didn't want her walking to school. And it terrified me. So now he's lying and playing on that, saying that I had her walking to school when these teachers in Itasca was telling the neighborhood, don't give my daughter a ride when someone did something to my
And there was a police report of it. Her ride said that these teachers are harassing me. Then they set me up and took my freedom.
His credit's messed up. I said, what did I put in your name? And I've already asked him this, and he has no proof of it. I gave you proof, don't play dumb. You can remember all this other irrelevant SHIT.
Okay, first off,
Now,
let's just really dissect this.
okay. Some kind of way your mom is targeted. People are putting guns on her. You witness a car accident, someone waiting to hit your mom, cursing her out, and calling her the B word, making people, all kind of neighbors were coming out. You see what it was deliberate that someone was furious that I was trying to have access to my child. Enlisted someone to wait up, gang stalk me, and want to teach me a lesson and hit me right in front of my child's house. And each time I was being monitored and went over there, I experienced amazing gang stalking, and these drivers were out of control. They wanted to terrorize me for wanting to have access to my daughter, which was important, all of my kids. So they're playing on soft spots with the church and other avenues, torturing me for trying to see my child, which is clear-cut mental illness. Who would not want to see their child? How many people can you be tortured not to love? Okay, let me pause this. So if you're not thinking that I'm being tortured for wanting to see my child, how about the criminal trespasses at CPS? How about the arrest and being detained for trying to report I don't have access to my daughter, being detained at South Central Patrol? How about being arrested at CPS? How about being bullied and security called on me at the 255th District Court? How about being removed at Hillsborough CPS and then my arrest threatened there? How about James Hastings coming to the cell and telling me you're never going to see your daughter again, you're going to lose custody. You're not going to see her. Now he has disappeared because he didn't follow policy and protocols. How about getting served in jail at church? They deliberately wanted me to be disoriented at church to ruin the service. So each time I got served crimes, it happened at church service. They had to strategize on how I would get served at church. They wanted to ruin that church experience. And then eventually I had built up a lot of friendships. So then the jail where the lady was later arrested couldn't coerce all the inmates to be accomplices to the crimes that they witnessed. I mean, it was insanity. They had to really fix it. This was the first time that they were just out of control. And I mean, it was like a horror movie. I mean, inmates were coming out, witnessing this jail staff commit crimes, and they could not believe what they were seeing. It was obvious that these jailers were committing obvious crimes. And the Diane Hammer, they saw me asking to go to court, being put in restraints when they couldn't furnish why I couldn't go to court on my court date. They saw Diane Hammer threaten to put me in restraints again and demanded paperwork that they gave me. And people were coming out of their cells and they just could not believe it, that they were witnessing jail staff racked up felonies for themselves. And eventually they're claiming that this woman was eventually arrested. So I'm just trying to give you avenues of, ways that my rights were being violated and inmates witnessed it and they were going crazy. So now each false arrest that was a learning curve that maybe this woman's freedom was taken, whatever was happening. So that was a learning curve. Now the con is that I'm so mentally ill, I'm placed around selected inmates that they choose.
that are mentally ill too, and we have this amazing mental illness that's way more mental ill. But here's the problem: there's no assaults with our mental illness. We're not aggressive with our mental illness, but some kind of way we're way more aggressive and mentally ill than people that have broke into cars, aggravated assaults, assaults. We are way more mentally ill than all these people. And we have to be placed isolated, and we have no kind of violent acts against us, period, me and these other weird inmates. Some kind of way we are all targeted, and we have to be around each other. I'm giving someone my food and she starts an argument, and other people are starting arguments. You know, these weird inmates that where we have this astronomical mental illness. This is how you not get charges. So our mental illness is so extreme, and they don't know why, and you get put in lockdown for trying to figure out what your mental illness is. The court don't know, so you can't go to court. Multiple different avenues. The mental illness court don't know properly, so you can't attend that. And the court, for while you're in on false charges, they don't want you there because they don't know either. So let me continue recording. Playing this video.
Who can you be tortured enough and violated and arrested and mistreated and violated to where you want to have nothing to do with your child? It hasn't worked. I still want access to my child. Even though I went to jail, even though I've been tormented, intimidated, given criminal trespasses, violated, mistreated, put in jail for trying to have a relationship, I still love my children and want to have a relationship with them. And as I've already stated, you can kill me and I will still try to have a relationship with my children. So since they're aware of that, they just entice my family to conspire with crimes, and you start arguments when she wants to be around you. You deny her access to you that way because she's not getting it, the arrest and all the other crimes we've committed. She's not getting it, so I'm going to torture you so you'll have nothing to do with her. Not only am I going to torture you, I'm going to list you to torture your mom on a whim when I'm upset. You know what? Since I got away with that, I'm going to enlist you to cover for my crimes and help me get away with crimes I committed to your mom. What are you going to do about it? So I'm not quite sure if I completed the thought, but I just think that it's really peculiar that they're wanting to capitalize off these loans and, some kind of way aren't concerned about your parents' life being in jeopardy. It's the loan is fictitious, but nonetheless, if there was indeed a loan and my kids borrowed money from me, if they said that my life was in danger, my kids communicated that with me, I wouldn't say, well, you had this loan and I don't want to talk to you, that's effed up, you created debt, and deflect on the fact that my kid's life is in jeopardy. I think that's abusive. So even though this fictitious loan he's using as an alibi to keep for validation on these arguments and staying away from me, that's what he's using as an alibi. It's just really not making sense. For people that are listening to this, if someone that you love says that their life is in jeopardy, I love you, I don't know how long I'll live, are you going to say, well, this loan? I'm mad about this loan that happened 6 years ago. And if it's effed up, you did this, and you just really can't ever talk about the false arrest, the government's crimes, and that party's life being in jeopardy because there's so much conflict. They used to hang up in my face and violate until I started recording and said that they didn't want to have anything to do with me because I was mentally ill. I had to record my family because they're conspirators in crimes. It's still glitching. That's the time. It's still, you can't see the comments or
it's basically stalking.
Why would my devices repeatedly cover from my family? That other upload was 7
They also told me about a $16,000 bid and won't tell me what it's from.
my family.
Then we got
My
Joe
device is
Gadley,
covered for my
whatever's
family.
happening with that.
Just like that lady that started an argument and threatened to put me out my car. She got out of control, and my device, I was like, oh, this is surefire evidence. My device wasn't recording it. She snapped and got loud because I was telling them I had the wrong order.
But I wanted to show you this. This is a text he sent me at another time. And Jason's minion sent me a text. And then what it says, victim mentality will get...
So my device covered for this too. So in one day, my son said that I was retarded and started an argument. Then Jason's minions, within an hour, was starting an argument, and it said that I was retarded. So the retarded, my son is younger. People don't really use that terminology, retarded, anymore. That's for older people. So my son said retarded, and then his minions in the same hour said retarded. I'm getting bombarded with these texts and arguments all across the board, like for years. I'm trying to prove it. So I recorded how my son was saying retarded and this Jason's minions, and it didn't record it. It covered for it.
You killed. No one is coming to help you. It's up to you. So my family is aware of my experience. They haven't been in a support system and has actually helped cover for it. That's one of the things that I wouldn't tell you guys about.
So this was a text message.
So abusers that want to gaslight and mistreat the individual.
So these are numerous text messages trying to frame me with mental illness from minions.
It says, I have not been around. Okay. He sent this message. Well, I said, I don't know when I will see you again. Well, I've tried to explain to you, this is what he responded, multiple times, that your children don't feel comfortable around you at this point.
So I'm being slandered for validation.
Still refusing to get help. So my distance has been for my own mental health. I would love to see you, but it never feels that things go south. That's a blatant lie. I haven't really been around my son. He hasn't really been talking to me.
Almost 10 years.
For whatever reason, my family behaving like this, they have to blame.
I'm panicking and I'm like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? I don't know. Then another psycho gang stalker relationship that I didn't know that I was being gang stalked. He accidentally lets it slip that my son is indeed living with my daughter. So my son, I'm on panic. Where's your sister? Because the government has been hiding her from me. And they hadn't got their life straight on the strategy on how they were going to terminate my rights. So they terminated my rights July of 2018 on my son's birthday. My stalker repeatedly does things like this. So the court date on when I tried to report my daughter's abuse and I called the police on the police, they set my court date for October 6th, which was my daughter's birthday. And then they set this other court date up to terminate this daughter's rights on July 10th. But they keep on setting court dates on dates that are specific to me to let me know that someone's controlling it, but you guys aren't supposed to be any wiser that it's happening. He wants me to know, that's a big part of his arrogance, that I am being violated, but the most important thing is, can I convince others it's really not happening? I want you to know you're being violated, but I want to keep this under wraps, and I don't want anyone else to know.
That's what abusers do. And I explained to him, even if that was true, and I haven't been around you, and a lot of people have mental health issues and are not being abandoned and mistreated by family. When did my mental health issues start? Well, the mental health issues started when I got the stalker. They were covering for him. And I know that it just doesn't sound realistic.
So now they're lying and won't tell me the truth. They said that they called him. They called him, and that's an innocent man, and why would I frame him like my sister said? She said when she blatantly lied and took my freedom and police don't want to investigate it, lied and said I was incompetent on blatant, approvable lies. They deprived me of my right to go to court when I was at Hickory Trail getting threatening schemes. Then hospital staff covered for it. I escalated. It got so out of control, I called the police on the hospital staff. I said, these people are out of control. I told my sister, she left. She said, you called the police on the hospital? I said, I surely did. They wouldn't come. They're letting people threaten me, lying, slandering, can't get their story straight, playing mind games. If someone's threatening someone, you can't leave them but someone set up the threat. And he wants his money's worth. And this person would stalk me, skip people in line to sit and stand next to me in lines, come by me all the time for the aggravation of it. Someone that threatens you is stalking you. Someone did it at Dallas Behavioral that terrorized me at Austin Street. I tried to report it to the police and they covered for it.
People, your family, your kids, and your sister would cover for him, the abuser. They said that we called him and he's not stalking you, and he never did. I just didn't mention that because I just didn't think people would believe it. And I said, how? And I used your car to go see him because my car broke down mysteriously. So I used his car. And then he's still covering for him. Okay? Now here's the Stalker's Minions page. So in the cyberbullying,
I'm not going to go through this one. This is what I was Then they would have, they just have he felt that it would be beneficial to enlist parties in the comments and on these multiple different cyberbullying sites to stalk and torment and then for the smear campaign and repeatedly keep getting away with it. If someone were to review these comments, there's actually evidence of criminal activity that the police department and the government repeatedly will not address. And I think the reason behind it, I think it's them. I think the government and my abuser is in cahoots with all this insanity, trying to cover for their crimes and then depriving me of law enforcement to combat it. Right here, I'm speaking of my son's the debt, the proof. I don't know exactly what you heard, but this is what happened with the proof of the debt.
And not even a name that to validate that it's actually your account, period. And then I said, then he starts speaking about other things. Yes, the light bill was in his name because I had 2 different locations that did not let me move in it that had accumulated light bills. It was just the strangest thing, and I tried to tell the providers that I didn't move in the property. What are you talking about? And I don't owe this service. And then they demanded, that I pay for this service, and it was supposed to be off anyway, all these glitches. I didn't realize I was targeted. So at Johnny Bowman in another address, 2 locations told me to move in, and I had lights cut on. Then someone, I believe, contacted them and then told them to deny me of that move-in, and they did it. So then they retracted when I already had lights cut on 2 different locations. This was in around the Itasca area. I didn't know that I was being monitored and violated by the government. Come to find out, as an alibi, they stated a reference was bad-mouthing me, and that's why these people retracted. They needed that as an alibi. So someone that was a plant that I didn't know, they were mentally ill because it was like a business office. And they were lying to these people, and that's why all these people retracted. That's what they were using as alibi. That way this man doesn't get accountability for violating me and enlisting armies full of accomplices. They let this party be the scapegoat on. Because I didn't know. It was peculiar on why all these people retracted. Those are just the one that had me cut lights on. But people said multiple that you can move in. And I said, okay. And then they all retracted. But this particular time, I had lights cut on. Some places things moved in and they retracted. So that's why that had to be in his name, because there were 2 different light bills. And then I said, how can I have light services in 2 locations? They said people do it all the time. They have multiple different homes. I said, well, I didn't, but they wanted. I don't know what is on my record. Like I said, I tried to get in Credit Karma and then got locked out of that. They just created it. Social Security Administration created it. They owed me countless funds that they were trying to commit crimes to keep me from in corruption.
So when I was arrested, I did have bills in his name, and I had just paid off all of the bills. There was a glitch with the gas bill. The gas bill, I talked to people with much bigger locations they live. Only the heat was in gas. Everything was electric, but they hadn't updated the heat. And the gas was $250-something. In fact, when James Hastings came out trying to set me up, I was speaking with the gas company on what is going on with my gas bill. Why is it $250 and this is everything's in electric but the heat? Everyone that I talked to has never heard of a gas bill being that high, but the government is allowing people to defraud me out of funds. So I was on a really fixed income, and that gas worker was there trying to figure out what was going on. And indeed, whoever I was talking to said that was a normal rate, but nobody I had ever heard of, even with much bigger homes, all gas. And mine was partial electric. People were telling me that something was wrong. So in addition to that, when James Hastings was setting me up, the gas worker that was there trying to check out what was going on said that something is amiss with this man. Make sure he's really with the CPS. Well, James Hastings even has in the records that he was trying to set me up and call me mental health people. But when I called, something happened. I guess that he incriminated himself, so he drove off. So when he acted peculiar like that, when he drove off in the middle of an interview, Then I called the police on him because his behavior was peculiar. So the police came out and wanted to get, since the police department was behind it, tried to get their story straight with James Hastings. It took an exceptional amount of time before the police came to the knocked on the door. I know my life, so was doing my own investigation work. Sure enough, the police is talking to James Hastings and the gas worker. The police and James Hastings are trying to enlist this gas worker to lie and be in cahoots because they're trying to set me up and detain me on false mental illness claims. The gas worker won't be in cahoots. And she's asking me to check out both of their credentials because something's fishy. Then she says, if you need my help, give me the information, give me your information, and I can help be a witness, so-and-so, so-and-so. So then the man who took my freedom a couple days later in the scheme with Officer Scott, who was crying on the stand, he then, pretends like he's taking an uninvestigated report when they were caught. Now James Hastings and all the teachers and all this insanity has disappeared so they don't get their racked up felonies. Not only are we going to rob you from those funds, we are going to create debt for you.
Okay, this is Social Security Administration before they had
Okay, I don't know.
Together.
So the government is in cahoots with financial abuse. So they run multiple different locations have conspired to keep me from funds that they're supposed to be paying me. The IRS probably around $10,000. I don't know how much with the Social Security Administration, Health, and the Attorney General tried to defraud me out of about $10,000. And but anyway, this is with the Social Security Administration. And I don't know, maybe I'll go into details.
Okay, I'm homeless, terrified for my life, being violated everywhere I'm at. Okay.
I don't remember.
So I want to get down to the bottom of what's going on with these Social Security benefits that my son as well as myself should be eligible for that piled up. The source actually told me there's a lot of money that you are supposed to get. I see it. I went up there and I know that you have all this money piled up. You should get it. Now that this party is corrupt and lying and covering for the government's crimes. Okay. But he said out his own mouth, he also told my child, go up there and get this money. Okay. It's piling up. Why won't you guys utilize this money from me? So this closed out.
We can't
it
get
was
it.
already up here. Let's see if it.
We can't.
It closed out to cover for crimes.
This is when I tried to get to the bottom of the payment.
Services again. This is the second time. And he calls because they gave me fake paperwork.
So the fake paperwork, I said to the Social Security Administration, give me the paper on the benefits that were paid out. They have me wait, play mind games, go here, go there, wait. I wait all this time and they give me a paper with zeros on it. I said, if I'm asking for my payments housed at zeros, then this happens.
Calling the police on me like they did at Attorney General. And the police said that I can record it when they're
committing crimes. But Attorney General gets sold $5,800 and another time $10,000.
This is a civil rights violation and trying to bully me, intimidate me, and make me think he kept
going. And when they got caught, they gave it back. They want to do law enforcement on why they did it.
To prevent me from getting to the bottom line of what was going on with the Social Security benefits me and my son should be eligible for.
They've also stolen other funds that I can't prove that they took it.
So if you can see this date, I keep getting these text messages. I may have to edit this. I keep getting these text messages, and then they're hoping that a number is exposed, and then they can scam or put out. These text messages is from the party that threatened to put me out her car for not wanting the wrong order. It's in a group chat.
That's why I did this whole recording over.
Numbers,
but it was blurry. I don't know if they'll make it clear.
For more schemes. So as you can see, that date is March 10th. When I realized it was the government that was robbing me blind, I realized at that point that the government was criminals. Okay? So, all I know is that
I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe my abuser was bribing locations and, and I didn't really know what was happening with the law enforcement and the government. But at this point, at March 10th, I had that light bulb moment. No, the government is in cahoots with whatever's happening with me.
You ignored me getting violated for an extended amount of time. And when I realized that the government was my abusers, you didn't have rights either with COVID-19. See, some people think that you can just sit and witness someone being violated and then doing nothing is doing something and is doing the wrong thing. And I'm not saying that they're all related. All I know is you witnessed me getting violated and did nothing, and then you got violated too with COVID-19. Me was criminals, then you didn't have rights with COVID. It's it is what it is. So I'm not going to say that it's real.
So that's the end of that. So allowing someone's rights get infringed to an extreme and doing nothing can also infringe on your future rights. I said this before COVID-19.
255 District Court.
Yes, may I have your name?
Oh, I'm sorry.
May I have your name?
Kevin.
Okay. Yes, I have an issue.
What's your name?
My name's Kiana Clark.
And then what's your case number?
Okay. So I was told my rights were terminated, and the Attorney General did not get the paperwork that my rights were terminated, and it's establishing debt. But I don't know how it disappeared, because when I was trying to report that I was being robbed of child support payments, they wanted me to know that my rights were terminated in multiple different locations. So now they're claiming that it came up missing. So they need you to fax over the terminated child custody rights. I did ask you guys to correct it on the computer because it's missing off the computer. And when I try to hire legal representation, they don't see it either. So can you mail me? Candace Tyler said that she was going to mail me those documents, but Oxford Street Shelter wouldn't give me my mail. And I called the police on them and they covered for it. So Candace Tyler said she was going to give me those documents and I needed that terminated. At least can you contact them that you're supposed to inform them of changes to the child custody? You guys failed to do that. You did, but then it disappeared. They're claiming that you didn't do your part by informing them that my rights were terminated. So you guys need to do your part.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Speaking, can I help you?
Yes, Candace Tyler said she was going to send me my child custody information on how my rights were terminated, and the location wouldn't give me my mail. So I need it, and then I asked them if they can place it online, and they won't place it online. And then in addition to that, I tried to get attorneys, and they claim that they can't see it where my rights were terminated. But at one point, Attorney General did say that they saw that my child custody rights were terminated, and they wanted me to have that documentation. And I didn't even know it was mysterious because these locations had it printed out in advance, like they were waiting on me to arrive. Nonetheless, they have lost the child custody agreement where my rights were terminated, and they need you to do your part and send them over the termination of my child custody rights because debt is being accrued. But I have no custodial rights. They said if you send the termination like you guys should have done to begin with, then they can handle that debt that's been accumulated.
Who am I speaking with?
Oh, he did a blind transfer? You know my history, Danitra Brown. You called security on me reporting this. You know who you're speaking with.
Again, who am I speaking with?
Kiana Clark. Remember when you had Felicia Peachtree, and then, you guys walked off when I was reporting crimes? You know who I am.
All right, Ms. Clark, if you would submit a request requesting those items, we'll review it.
Okay.
My email address is denitra.brown@dallascounty.org.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So you have to review on if I can get documents. Is that legal for you to demand that to review it and withhold documents from me? Because so many people are doing it. You have a right to withhold the pertinent documentation. Isn't that illegal? What's your position, ma'am? You guys don't ever think you'll see your felonies, do you? You're just completely arrogant and think you'll never see charges. Ma'am, every place I'm calling is keeping me from getting anything accomplished. If I repeatedly keep sending these emails and people are committing crimes and withholding documentation, why I keep getting railroaded to people that want to wreck up felonies? You keep ignoring me trying to get something resolved, Miss Brown. I'm reporting you to the police. Hello? I'm just going to report you to the police. Yes, I need to do a police report on criminal activity from the 255th District Court, Danitra Brown. how she plays mind games and commits crimes to keep me from having access to my child. What are my options?
Hold on, let me transfer you, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you need police, fire, or medics?
Okay, they normally tell me about an online capability to report crimes online.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's that? How do you do that?
Do you have a cell phone so I can text you the link?
I do.
Hit and run.
Criminal mischief?
Shoplift. Like if they damage something on your property, whether it be your home, your car.
I thought criminal mischief was all kind of different avenues. What about reporting someone with a family court that's involved in harassment schemes, mind games, and withholding court records and corruption?
So harassment is also on there. So I'll send a link over to you right now, and just make sure you have a good email address, okay?
Okay. And what's your name?
It's Monique.
Okay. And are you a dispatcher or are you a police?
It's 911.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll send it over to you now.
Okay, thank you. Well, I wouldn't imagine. I don't really think, 'cause people have said at some locations that they've tried to access my YouTube channel and couldn't. So I spent all this time and I just don't know what the government's doing. Because at Walmart, I said, I want you to see what the government's doing. I was trying to buy a megaphone, that's it. And all these people were panicking at stores at Walmart because I was trying to buy a megaphone. And they said, we've tried, multiple different people here tried to have access to your channel and we can't see it. One person got in, but several different people, we couldn't look at it. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm done with that for now.